All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Law, and we're going to
Morning, Your Honor.
begin. Good morning. Good morning, Deputy Milton. We are going to begin with our state all-purpose calendar. This is January 4th, 2024. Sorry, I just reverted 12 months back. Okay. This is January 4th, 2024, and we are with the State Court of Fulton County. We're going to be addressing cases in which individuals had been recently arrested and charged with misdemeanor offenses. They have had their initial appearance and bonds have been set. These cases were then reset in order to determine the status. Some of the matters we'll be addressing is whether we are going to have a plea hearing. That is, if the defendant wishes to enter a plea of guilty or no contest to the charges in exchange for a recommended sentence, or if the defendant wishes to enter a plea of not guilty and have the case further noticed for trial. Other matters we may possibly address are probation revocation matters as well as bond modifications. If you're a defendant charged with one or more misdemeanor offense, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you choose to say in open court, I know we have a virtual court proceeding, but remember it's being recorded as well as live streamed. So if you choose to say anything, your statements will be used against you in the treatment of your case. So I highly recommend that you exercise your right to remain silent and only speak with your attorney. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Okay, let me start with ACDC. Who do we have at the screen?
Position 32.
All right, Mr. McLean, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Mr. McLean, that is your client and probation application.
That's a not guilty, waive formal reading of the accusation, and if the court would just tell her the maximum and the admonition to watch out for your court date, will be fine.
This is State versus Brittany Shelton, case number 23 CR 7631C, in which Ms. Shelton has been accused of theft by taking from October 15th, 2023. Ms. Shelton, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Mr. Michael McLean.
Let me check, Your Honor. Also, I do have a form for waiver of presence and arraignment if that is suitable.
All right. Your attorney is going to be submitting a waiver of arraignment and entering your not guilty plea. Your case will be scheduled for trial, at which time during the course of the trial, the prosecution would have the complete burden to prove the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecution does prevail and overcomes your legal presumption of innocence, you could be convicted and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine. All right, as your attorney will be submitting a not guilty plea on your behalf, your case will be further noticed for trial. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, she said she did not want to waive.
Oh, okay.
Well, certainly she is present, and what is it we're not waiving? The reading of the accusation?
I want to go ahead and take the plea, Mr. McLean.
I'm sorry, what?
I want to go ahead and take the plea that we discussed yesterday.
All right, people often change their mind. That's fine. You can do that.
All right. Ms. Shelton, have you gone over the details of the plea with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. In that case, then, Ms. Brittany Shelton, we are having a plea hearing. And as I've already advised you of your rights, if you please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide for this plea hearing will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Walker, good morning, sir. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year, Your Honor. So in the terms of a negotiated plea, the offer is 12 months probation to serve 60 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance probated, an anti-theft course, restitution in the amount of $395.76 to Jersey Mike's, located at 5855 State Bridge Road. There is a stay away from that address, and there is a no contact. I believe this is a store employee by the name of Christian Lemon.
I do need to ask if the state agrees with the following concept. On December the 14th, I believe it was, she was allowed to have a signature bond. However, because of another case, she has not activated that signature bond. Literally, she has not signed it. So I think it would be fair to give her credit since December 14th, as well as the 15th. That would essentially make it time served as the jail portion of her sentence, and she could start her probation.
Well, if she was never signed out with the signature bond, the jail will automatically calculate those days because she would still be serving the time. The state doesn't do the calculations, but if she has the time to fulfill the 2-for-1, there's no objection.
Very good.
I'm just looking up her jailing record.
She was not able to utilize the benefit of that signature bond because of other matters.
All right, I make a note that she's been in custody for 36 days. Would the state accept that as
Yes, Your Honor.
to
That's
serve
more than
30?
enough.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and Mr. McLean, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
You do.
Ms. Shelton, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to understand the details of the plea recommendation as your attorney has explained it?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty to this offense, that you would have to give up your constitutional right to challenge this charge in a court of law? There will be no trial before a judge or a jury. There will be no opportunity to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of theft by taking?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. I'll accept your guilty plea. Your sentence is 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served, 30 days. Your jail time for this case is concluded. However, given the fact that you may have other matters holding you at the jail, your probation will only begin once you are released from the other matters. Once you're released, you will have to report to probation on the first immediate weekday, which would be a Monday, a Tuesday, or a Thursday. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. When you report for probation, you'll be required to complete the following conditions: an anti-theft class, and to pay restitution in the amount of $395. You will have 1 year to complete the class. You'll have 10 months, yes, to complete the class and to pay off the $395. Those must be paid directly to your probation officer, and those funds will then be remitted to the victim, which is Jersey's Mike at 5855 State Bridge Road in Alpharetta, Georgia. You're required to also stay away from that store and have no contact with Christine. Is it Christine or Christian? Christian Lemon. And any objection to non-reporting upon completion, Mr. Walker?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Once you start probation, the sooner you pay off your restitution and the sooner you you complete the class, then your probation will go on a non-reporting basis, which means that you won't have to pay probation fees after you've completed your conditions. But while you're reporting, you're required to pay those. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can we go to Alpharetta Jail? That's position 19 and 20. That's Mr. Harrison.
All right. Who's the officer in the courtroom 2, please?
It's Officer Norris.
Officer Norris, good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Judge Law.
All right, sir. Well, you're filling in big shoes for Deputy Francois, and I appreciate that.
You know, we work close.
I know, and I know she wears a size 4 shoes as well. So,
Right. So only my toes can fit in.
all right. So, Deputy Norris, just let me know when you need me to go back to courtroom 2, okay?
Gotcha.
Thank you, sir. Position 19 and 20, we have Mr. John Harrison. if you are, where's Alfredo J? There he is. All right. If Miss, is it Miss Abdon?
This is Olivia Vigiletti, Judge. I'm a new attorney with Fulton County. I'm going to be doing state on purpose.
Good morning. And could you give me your name again, please?
Olivia, last name is Vigiletti, Vigiletti.
Got it. Thank you, Ms. Vigiletti, and welcome to State All Purpose. Okay, so we are addressing John Harrison. If your name is John Harrison, please raise your right hand. If your name is John Harrison, please raise your right hand. All right, Alfred, yeah, okay. Mr. Harrison, please, can you hear me all right? All right, there is a problem with sound. Alfredo Jail, could we increase the volume on the computer that's being used? Mr. Harrison, can you call the, okay. Deputy at the Alfredo Jail, could you raise the volume? Mr. Harrison, you may put your hand down. Okay, can you hear me all right?
Sorry, we're having issues with the volume. We can barely hear you.
Okay, Mr. Harrison, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, it's better.
All right, you may want to come closer to whatever speaker they have there. Okay. This is position 19 and 20. Mr. John Harrison has 2 cases. Can you hear me so far? The first case is 23 CR 1392A. The charges are improper and erratic lane change, driving while license suspended or revoked, willful obstruction of an officer, 2 counts, and giving false information to an officer. This stems from a March 8, 2023 incident. The second case, 24 FTA number 4, that is a bench warrant. Do you hear me, Mr. Harrison?
Yes, ma'am.
The bench warrant case is as a result of failure to report to court. You have been advised you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Vigiletti, and she is located on the screen that says courtroom 2. Can you see her? Can you see her? Okay. All right, Ms. Vigiletti, with regards to positions 19 and 20, what are we doing?
Mr. Harrison has decided to plead guilty.
All right, so he's accepting a plea offer from the state?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Harrison, I understand that you want to plead guilty in exchange for a recommended sentence. May I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In the terms of a negotiated plea, it's my understanding the offer is on count 1, 12 months probation with a fine of $265. That count is to run consecutive to count 2, which is going to be 12 months served, 42 days, credit for time served of 21 days, balance probated with a fine of $1,000. Count 3 is to also run consecutive with count 2, which is a $250 fine with the condition of attending Operation 21. Count 4 will merge into count 2, and count 5 will be consecutive to count 1. And that's 12 months probation as well. In total, that's a fine in the amount of $1,765 and to attend Operation 21, basically, while out on probation.
Excuse me, my understanding was that those probation, that would be concurrent, so it would be a total of.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misread it. So yes, it would be concurrent.
Okay, concurrent, yeah, that's what.
That's correct.
All right. And Ms. Vigiletti, are those the terms to which your client has agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, you do stipulate.
Thank you. Mr. Harrison, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
Ma'am,
Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
any medicine?
Have you consumed any recently?
No, ma'am. I just had no, no, ma'am.
Okay, and have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And is anyone forcing you to take this plea offer today?
Yes, ma'am.
Has it been explained to you that if you plead guilty to the 4 charges in question, that you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial, to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you in a court of law, to be able to present any defenses if you choose to do so, and have the state try to prove the original charges against you beyond beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you prepared to give up these rights? You need to say yes or no. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Again, ma'am.
Are you prepared to give up the rights I've just listed to you? You need to say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of driving with an improper erratic lane change, driving while license suspended or revoked, 1 count of obstruction of an officer, and giving false information to an officer?
Guilty, ma'am.
On the improper erratic lane change, your sentence is 12 months probation with a $265 fine, which will run concurrent to count 2. Driving while license suspended or revoked, your sentence is 12 months probation, serve 42 days, credit for time served 21 days, to pay a $1,000 fine. On count 3, that will be concurrent to count 2, is 12 months to pay a $250 fine and complete an Operation 21 program. And count 5 is 12 months probation, concurrent to count 1. Which means in total, Mr. Harrison, you'll be released from jail. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
You must report to probation next Thursday, which is January 11th, before 3 p.m. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. Do you understand?
Can you, because it's hard for me to hit the address, ma'am, give the jail or give them the information here so they can give it to me before I get loose.
Yeah. Ms. Vigiletti, please make sure that the address is on his plea paperwork.
Absolutely.
The report date is next Thursday, January 11th, before 3 p.m. While on probation, you will complete paying a $1,765 fine, plus all probation fees and court costs, and you will complete an Operation 21 program. The program must be completed within 60 days of beginning probation. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
You are not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration.
Okay, I'll go down to the DMV and check on it. If I can't, I'll just take an Uber or get somebody to take me.
All right. Any objection to non-reporting, Mr. Walker?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Once you have completed paying all your fines and court costs and completed the Operation 21 program, your probation will be non-reporting. The sooner you're done with your conditions, the sooner you can stop reporting to probation. You are technically still on probation, but you don't have to report if the conditions are completed. Do you understand? Mr. Harrison, do you understand? I can't hear you. You need to repeat.
No, ma'am, I'm fine. Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Your bench warrant case is going to be closed out by a null pros. All right, that completes your cases. Thank you.
Position 1 and 2, Armstrong and medical.
Alpharetta Jail, we are concluded. Thank you.
Judge, it's my understanding that Mr. Armstrong is represented by Dennis Murphy.
Yeah, Alpharetta Jail, we are concluded. If you want to leave the Zoom, or do we have another case there?
That's the only case we have in Alpharetta, Your Honor.
All right, sir, you have a good Thursday. Thank you. You're free to leave the Zoom. Yes, is Dennis Murphy on the Zoom? Okay,
But he said that he talked to someone from the public defender office on yesterday. A female came out to see him.
okay. Miss Grace, we can mute Alpharetta Jail, please, or whoever is hosting. Who is hosting? Is it?
It's Ms. Strong, but I can do it.
All right, please mute Alpharetta Jail. Okay, this is State versus Clarence Lamar Armstrong. Mr. Armstrong, if you can hear me, please raise your right hand. Okay, thank you. You may lower your arm. Mr. Armstrong, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Dennis Murphy. If that is your understanding, could you please say yes? If not, you can say no.
Yes.
All right. Have you spoken to Mr. Murphy recently?
No, I spoke to an assistant of his, a young lady. I forget her name now.
Okay. Your attorney has already filed a waiver of arraignment and a not guilty plea on your behalf. Do you understand, sir?
No, ma'am, I didn't hear you.
Your attorney, let me just check on this.
Okay.
Your attorney's name is Dennis Murphy. Is that correct?
Okay, Dennis Murphy.
Yeah. Dennis Murphy has requested a jury trial in your case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you will receive notice of when your trial date is going to be scheduled. All right. Thank you, Mr. Armstrong.
All right.
You're free to go.
Your Honor, can we go to the probation calendar? This is gonna be position 7 and position 8, Mr. Demis Scott.
Okay, thank you, Officer Norris. Officer Allison, good morning and Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
And may I place you under oath?
Yes.
First thing you remember me doing this year. Okay. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are addressing positions 7 and 8. Mr. McLean, is this Dimas Scott? Is that oh, Mr. Haddad, I'm so sorry. Okay.
I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or an insult, Judge.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, it's
fine.
it's more a testament that I need to fix my glasses. Okay. All right, Mr. Haddad, am I pronouncing your client's name correctly? Dimas?
You are, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Dimas Scott has got a probation revocation case, 23 CR 657C. And the probation violation case is 24 PV number 3. Mr. Scott, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Jawan Haddad. This is going to be a probation revocation matter, and I will hear from the state as to why they're seeking a revocation of your sentence. Ms. Officer Allison?
Yes. Mr. Scott failed to pay a court fine in a total of $300. Failed to report as directed on April 17, 2023, May 30th, 2023, and July 6, 2023, and has not completed anger management. He has 158 days remaining. Probation is recommended to continue on probation, enroll in anger management, and start paying his fine within 30 days.
How many classes has he got left to complete?
We don't have record of any, but he has to complete 4 weeks.
4 classes, okay. Mr. Haddad, is your client willing to accept that recommendation?
Judge, yes. He's been in for 18 days. Judge, I was wondering if the court would be willing to waive the fine, the fine, so he can just concentrate on the anger management. But understandably, if not, we're either way, Judge, my client is ready to proceed with the resolution of this case. Time served, Judge.
All right, he has 158 days to get a job and pay the fine. So no, the request is denied. And he'll have to begin the anger management classes within 60 days of being released. The probation's asked 30, I'll give him 60 days in order to get the funding to complete those 4 classes. If he doesn't complete the classes by the end of February, then his probation will be revoked.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. This will be recorded as a probation violation on his record. The court is accepting the state's recommendation. He has 158 days left on his probation schedule. He must report to probation on Monday before 3 p.m. The date on Monday is January 8th. And he must report to probation on Monday before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta before 3 p.m. And he will complete the anger management classes within 60 days of being released. He must show proof of that. So by end of February, he must have shown proof of completion. And he must pay the $300 fine. He has the remainder of the 158 days to pay off that fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Next, we're gonna go to position 9 and position 10 on the probation calendar.
This is Mr. Darius Smith. Case is 21 CR 1174D, in which Mr. Smith was convicted of criminal trespass and obstruction of an officer. And his probation violation case is 24 PV number 4. And Mr. Smith, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Haddad. Officer Allison, what is the reason for the revocation?
Mr. Smith failed to pay probation supervision fees in a total of $239, victim crime funds in a total of $54, failed to report to court as directed on July 11, 2023, did not provide proper samples of court-ordered drug and alcohol testing, failed to obtain anger management or emotional regulation through Lux Place. He has 236 days remaining. Probation is recommended to continue on probation.
All right. Mr. Haddad?
Your Honor, we're okay with we'd ask the court to follow the state's recommendation. My only question that I have, and because I don't have the actual dates, but my paperwork shows that Mr. Smith entered the plea July 29th of 2022, and I believe the warrant was issued July 11th of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just a little bit,
Well, the probation was suspended until he was brought into custody.
But when was, I guess what I'm trying to find out, Officer Allison, is
Okay.
when the warrant issued for the probation?
I could give you a date. Give me a second. Mr. Smith, his warrant went into effect on July 11th, 2023.
Right,
The day
so,
he missed court.
but wouldn't that be, I mean, if the plea was July 29th of 2020.
He was sentenced to 24 months, not 12 months. I think that's your question.
Okay. All right, thank you. That clears it up, Judge.
Okay.
That was my only question, Judge Lowell. I apologize.
Okay.
So, having said that, all of that, Judge, my client has been in custody 18 days here in Fulton County. I would just ask the court to follow the state's recommendation, Judge. He's got plenty of time left on probation.
And, okay. I will mark this as a probation violation. Mr. Smith, does he have any holds at the jail presently?
No, Judge, he does not.
All right, then he will report to probation on Monday, January 8th before 3 p.m. And when he reports, he needs to, first thing you will do, Officer Allison, is do a random screen. That's the first thing that needs to be done. Since he's failed to complete any of the random screens, that you're going to order him to a random screen for illegal drugs and or alcohol. Then the next thing is he will have 236 days left to complete his anger management classes. I'm not certain as to looking at the disposition. He was supposed to be at a program called the Luke's Place. Is he still with the program?
Your Honor, my client relates that he completed the program. Of course, he does not have proof, but what I've asked him to do is when he report to probation Monday, whatever proof he has to bring it to probation judge.
That's a bit too vague for me.
Well, I mean, my point is, I mean, I can say he's completed it, but he does not have proof with him because he's in custody.
No, I don't expect him to have the proof on his person, but can we expressly and affirmatively state that he has completed the program at this location?
He's nodding yes, Judge. That he
Okay.
completed it.
Then within 30 days of reporting to probation, he needs to bring a letter from the supervisor at this program. It's called Luke's Place, and it must be provided to the probation officer that he has completed the anger management and is called emotional regulation therapy program at this location, and the date that he began and the date that he ended. And that proof must be provided to the probation officer. If that proof is not available within the next 30 days, then he has to complete 8 anger management classes at his expense, and he must start those classes within 60 days of reporting to probation on Monday. Does that make sense, Mr. Haddad?
It does, Judge. Thank you.
All right. He is to also stay away from the Kroger at 2452 Marosco Way in Atlanta, Georgia. He's not to return to that location while he's on active probation. And also, please note that he is subject to random screens for illegal drugs and or alcohol. So he has to, he's not allowed to consume any of these substances. Is that understood, Mr. Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll be released and report to probation on Monday. Thank you.
Your Honor, can we go back to medical?
Yes, sir. Who do we have at medical, please?
Positions 13 through 16, Caldwell.
Okay. That would be Ms. McLeod's cases. Ms. McLeod, good morning.
Yes, good morning,
And
Your Honor.
Happy New Year to you. Yes, ma'am. Okay. 13 to 16 is Denise Caldwell.
Yes, Your Honor.
Denise Caldwell has got a few cases with us. Position 13 is a bench warrant, 17 CR 26865E. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Position 13 is a case, 17 CR 26865E, in which he was charged with operating a vehicle with a suspended or revoked license and failure to maintain lane from December 19th, 2015. Position 14 is 22 CR 7938E, in which he was accused of giving false information to an officer, loitering and prowling from November 22nd, 2022. Position 15 is a bench warrant, 23 FTA 1181 from July 3rd, 2023. And position 16 is a bench warrant, 23 FTA 1182, same offense date. Mr. Caldwell, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod, what are we doing with these 2 cases and 2 bench warrants?
Your Honor, it's going to be a plea this morning. I just needed clarification on one point of the state's offer. So I would say it's going to be a negotiated plea. There was one point that I was unsure, well, 2 points actually that I was unsure of. So I would like for the state to clarify what their offer is so that I'm sure.
What's the question? Did you want a breakout or did you want, are you okay to ask them?
I'm okay to ask it on here. I wanted to know if the 6 months suspension of his license was a part of what was being suggested, because I was a little unsure, because he does have a valid driver's license now, which we don't want suspended.
Yes, that's part of the offer, counsel.
Ms. McLeod, pleading guilty to a suspended or revoked license presently, even if the incident was from 2015, will automatically trigger a 6-month suspension with the Department of Driver Services.
I understand, Your Honor, but he could plead nolo, which my understanding is would not trigger it.
I disagree, but that's up to you and Mr. Walker.
Well, I'm going to have to talk to my client about that part. And the other part of it was, I was not sure if the probation that you wanted for the 2 cases was to run concurrently.
Yes, probation will run concurrently.
So it would be a year, correct?
Yes, that is correct, Ms. McLeod.
So the other issue is just a suspended license.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to talk to my client about that part.
All right. Miss Medical, do you have another case that is waiting, or can I place you in a breakout?
You can place us into a breakout. I don't have anyone else.
All right. Will the host please place Attorney McLeod and the medical panel in a breakout session? You will see a message on the screen to join the breakout. Right. Jail court iPhone, who do we have?
We have position number 35 and 36, plus on the probation calendar 13 and 14.
Okay. Presently is sorry about that. Is that Mr. Winters with you?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. McLean, that's your client, and that's going to be a negotiated plea, okay?
I believe that is correct. That's how I have it down there, Your Honor.
Okay. This is State versus Jacarius Winters. Mr. Winters, my name is Judge Law. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Michael McLean in courtroom 2. Have you spoken to Mr. McLean?
I think so. I think yesterday.
Okay. Mr. McLean's in courtroom 2. Can you see the attorney there?
Oh, he's waving. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Winters, your case 23 CR 2890E, you were accused of theft by shoplifting and criminal trespass from May 10th, 2023. Then you have a bench warrant 24 FTA number 5 from June 5th, 2023. This is going to be a negotiated plea. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Walker, what's the recommendation for Mr. Winters?
Yes, the recommendation is 12 months to serve 132 days, credit for time served of 66 days, balance probated. There's going to be a stay away condition for the Walmart located at 970 Mansell Road in Roswell. He'll also have to take an anti-theft course and do 40 hours of community service on count 1. On count 2, which is the run concurrent with count 1, he has an additional 40 hours of community service. So in total, that will be 80 hours community service, an anti-theft course, and a stay away from the Walmart.
All right. Mr. McLean, does your client accept those terms, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
He does. We do.
Thank you. Mr. Winters, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you still able to understand the proceedings?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to enter a guilty plea today?
No, ma'am.
Has it been explained to you that if you plead guilty, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial before a judge or a jury to be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting and one count of criminal trespass at the Walmart on Mansell Road?
Guilty.
Your sentence for the theft by shoplifting is 12 months to serve 132 days, credit for time served 66 days. If you have no other cases holding you at the jail, you'll be released within 24 hours. You must report to probation next Thursday, January 11th, before 3 p.m. The probation office is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will complete an anti-theft class and you will complete 40 hours of voluntary community service. You must complete the anti-theft class within 60 days of being released. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
On the criminal trespass, the charge will run concurrent to the theft by shoplifting, but you must do an extra 40 hours of community service. In total, you have to do 80 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency that is not a church and not a school. Once you've completed the community service hours, the supervisor must give you a letter with a company letterhead printed on it that tells the probation officer that you have completed at least 80 hours, 80. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
At all times, you must stay away from the Walmart store on Mansell Road in Roswell, Georgia. Thank you. And the bench warrant matter will be null prost. All right, probation revocation matter at jail court iPhone. Was that position, I forgot, I'm sorry. 13
13
and
and 14.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
With the same individual. All right. Mr. Winters, we have a couple more matters to address. Okay. You've already been advised of your rights, and your attorney for the probation revocation matter is a different attorney. His name is Jawan Haddad. Do you still see him in courtroom too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Mr. Winters, this is a case in which you were previously convicted and sentenced, and the state intends to revoke your sentence and have you serve out the rest of the time. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. That case number is 22 CR 7842A, and the probation violation case is 24 PV number 7. This is a conviction for theft by shoplifting. So, Officer Allison, what do you see? What's the state seeking?
Mr. Winters failed to pay probation supervision fees in a total of $120. Victim crime funds in total $27. Failed to report as directed on January 24, 2023, February 2nd, 2023, February 9th, 2023, and February 28th, 2023. Failed to complete the shoplifting course. He has 47 days remaining on this case. Probation is recommended for time served, case closed.
I should have got started with this first instead of the other one. Okay. Mr. Winters?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Haddad, any objection to me accepting the state's recommendation?
No, Judge.
All right.
No objection.
This will be marked as a probation violation. And Mr. Winters, I really wish I'd looked into this before I sentenced you in the earlier case. I will accept the state's recommendation and commute the 47 days to time served. In this theft by shoplifting conviction, you did not complete the class, you did not report. And now I've just sentenced you on a new shoplifting case, and so
Yeah,
I have great doubts about you being able to complete the new sentence.
I didn't complete it. I just got off of 8-year probation and I reported it for the whole 8 years.
Not for this shoplifting class.
I can accomplish this.
All right. Mr. McLean, I don't know if he's there.
He's here, Judge.
All right.
Say something about.
Miss Grace, in the case 23 CR 2890E, in which I just sentenced him to probation for shoplifting, he is required to report every month, and he is required to pay probation fees. And Mr. Winters, if you don't report every month for the remainder of your sentence in the new case you've got, probation is authorized to revoke your probation and have you serve out the rest of the jail time at the jail. There won't be any future commuting. Do you understand?
Not really.
If you don't finish the class in this new case in which you were sentenced, and if you don't finish the community service and you don't report to probation every month, probation will be authorized to have you arrested and serve out the rest of the time at the Fulton County Jail.
Okay, I don't want that. I understand.
I'm just letting you know that if I'm the judge on your next revocation hearing, please remember this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can we
All right.
collect Ms. McLeod client position?
Definitely.
Through 16?
All right, Ms. McLeod, have we resolved the questions about Mr. Caldwell?
Mr. Caldwell, Your Honor, yes. We have resolved the questions. This is going to be a negotiated plea.
All right, and is it a guilty or nolo plea?
We would like it to be a nolo if possible, Your Honor. But if not, it will be a
Let
guilty.
me see.
If it's
Mr. Well, eligible is one thing. What's his history?
So he has 23 cycles. The things I saw most relevant, I saw out of Clayton County, there's a 2019 conviction of driving with a suspended license. So obviously that's going to be a basis to the objection to a nolo. I'm showing that he also had, I believe it still might be open fleeing. And then additionally in 2021, and this is still an open citation case, he had a failure to yield to another vehicle, and that caused the accident. Obviously, that's a concern because that's still around the same period of time. And if I had to guess, he didn't have a license in that case either. But nonetheless, he does have a 2019 conviction for driving with a suspended license. So we would be objected to the nolo.
All right, Ms. McLeod, does he have any open cases holding him in the jail presently?
No, Your Honor, he does not, to my knowledge.
All right. The first thing he'll do when he reports to probation is surrender his driver's license. His license will be, he will not be allowed to drive for 1 year while he's on probation. Does he still want to move forward with the plea?
Your Honor, that was not a part of the state's offer.
Understood. I'm imposing this requirement.
I would have to talk to him again about that, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, he has a felony case that's holding him right now. It
Oh,
looks like
okay.
there's no bond on.
So I'm not
I
certain.
think he
Can we unmute medical? Mr. Caldwell, you just gave us a thumbs up. Was that a yes to a 1 year suspension of your
Yes, ma'am.
driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay.
All right. And this will be a guilty plea. So based on this information, Ms. McLeod, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue and ID for position 13 and 14?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Caldwell, I think I did place you under oath. So I don't think I did because there was a question. Ms. Caldwell, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Caldwell, as you've already heard, first of all, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you being forced or has anyone induced you to plead guilty today to these two cases?
No, ma'am.
Are you entering the plea of guilty freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that your license will be suspended for the 1 year that you'll be on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you also understand that in order for me to accept your guilty pleas, that you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial for both cases, to give up your right to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present any defenses or mitigating factors if you choose to do so, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up all these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
In case 17 CR 2685E, how do you plead to one count of driving while on a suspended and revoked license and one count of failure to maintain lane?
Guilty.
On position 14, 22 CR 7938E, how do you plead on giving false information to an officer and loitering and prowling?
Guilty.
On the position 13, the suspended license case, your sentence will be 12 months to serve 44 days, credit for time served 22 days. Once you have resolved the holds at the jail, you will report to probation at the first available business day, which will be Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. When you report to probation, it will be at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. The first thing you will do is surrender your driver's license to the probation officer, and you are not allowed to drive for the 1 year, for the remainder of the 1 year that you are on probation. So no driving is a condition to your probation. While on probation, you will pay a $1,000 fine, and on the failure to maintain lane, you will pay an additional $265 fine. With regards to position 14, the sentence is going to be 12 months probation concurrent to the first case, and you are to have no contact with Khadijah Freeman, Jerry Price, and Jasmine Brown. Would that be correct, Mr. Walker?
That's what I have, Your Honor.
All right. So with regards to these three individuals, you have to stay 200 yards away, have any communication with them. You will pay probation fees every month, and you will report to probation every month. Thank you.
Excuse me, Judge, Mr. Walker, on the second case, position 14, is that balance probated or suspended? Because you
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
12
any
months, it's 12 months
conditions.
probation. It's just 12 months probation, concurrent to,
What are the conditions?
oh, the only condition is no contact with the three individuals. Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Grace, it's for position 14 is 12 months to serve 50 days, credit for time served 25 days, balance probated. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, but normally it's suspended because there's no conditions except for.
Oh, well, the condition is no
the
contact. No,
Mhm.
yeah, the condition is no contact. So he is not suspended. He will have to report every month.
Your Honor, I would ask the court if his probation fees could be waived, certainly for the first few months, because he is going to be in jail for a little while and has been in jail for a little while. I see that the court has decided that once he completes the conditions, it can't be suspended.
Correct. I'll waive his probation fees for the first 2 full months that he, once he reports.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, I haven't.
Well, that concludes my business before the court today. May I
Okay.
ask?
Ms. McLeod, do you have any cases at the 11 a.m. calendar?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right then. Have a
I have
good day.
one question.
Thank you.
He has a question.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Mr. Caldwell, do you need to
Well-
speak to your attorney?
I wonder, do I have time served now? For them
You do
cases?
not have time served. I'm not giving you time served. I'm putting you on probation.
No, I'm
No, he wants to know if his jail time with respect to these cases is time served, and that's yes.
For position 13, you were given credit for 44 days, and the remainder of the time will be on probation. For position 14, with the giving false information, you're given credit for 50 days, with the remainder time being on probation.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
I
you.
apologize, Judge Law. It does look like Ms. McLeod does have a case on the calendar at 11 o'clock. I think that was the case that we reset because she wasn't on last week. I just wanted
Which
to
one
make,
is that? I did not see that calendar. What is the name of my client so that I can?
Jane Sydney.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to confirm before
And
she.
this is at 11 o'clock? Okay.
Yes, it's, you've got you've got Larenisha Duval.
Yes, I definitely know about Miss Duval, but I didn't know she was going to be on this calendar. I did not receive a copy of that calendar.
Okay, and Sydney James. Okay,
Yes, Your Honor, may I be excused to come back for the 11th?
certainly. It's the same Zoom link. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Jail court iPhone, who do we have, please?
We have position 31.
This is State versus Malcolm Sabri. Charged with battery, family violence in case 23 CR 4876C. Mr. Sabri, the offense date is August 8th, 2023, and the case number is 23 CR 4876C. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Michael McLean. Do you see Mr. McLean at the courtroom too?
Yes.
Okay. I understand this is going to be either an arraignment. Yes, Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, it could be a waiver if that is suitable. I could fill out a waiver form and waive the arraignment. He
Okay.
is pleading not guilty.
Mr. Sabri, your attorney, Mr. McLean, is entering a not guilty plea on your behalf. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
All right. And as you are charged with a misdemeanor offense, this case is going to be further notice for trial. At the time of the trial, the prosecution would have the complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecution does succeed, you could be convicted and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine. Thank you. That concludes the case.
Is my wife able to speak here?
I will bring paperwork to you later this afternoon, Mr. Sabri.
Okay. Okay, because my wife, I was under the impression that she may be able to speak here on my behalf.
I would not think that impression would be correct.
Am I supposed to sound out for someone, Mr. Walker?
Is not my understanding, Your Honor.
Well, right now, we've got a bond order for Mr. Sabri in which he is to have no contact with Shelby Price. Is that the wife?
Yes.
And if you have been in phone communications with Miss Price, you'll be violating the bond order.
No, I was just assuming that she could, she was gonna zoom in because I'm sorry, I didn't know. Okay.
Shelby Price is on the Zoom, but if you have been communicating with her, that would be a violation of your bond order. I'm just letting you know that.
Okay.
So Shelby Price, you are on Zoom. If you want to address the court, you would need to start your video and unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you want to address the court?
Yeah, so I spoke with the VA
You
yesterday.
need to raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge, subject to the rules and laws of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been in contact with Mr. Sabri since August 9th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you speak with him?
Over the phone, mostly.
How do you speak with him over the phone?
Not too often. Not too often. Every few weeks, he just calls and checks on me. Nothing major.
He calls you?
No, we call each other.
All right. The prosecution's on the Zoom panel, and based on your sworn testimony, it appears that Mr. Shabri has violated the bond order in which he's required to not have any contact with you. He cannot call you, he cannot speak with you, he cannot communicate with you in any way, form, or manner. And so, Mr. Walker, I'm going to let you decide what you want to do.
Yes, the state will file their appropriate motions. I know that there's a no contact in this case, and there's also an open aggravated assault where the victim is the same victim in that matter. There's also a no contact in that case as well. So the state will be filing the appropriate motions, Your
All
Honor.
right. And Mr. McLean, if you'd like to chime in.
I would. It sounds like the alleged victim is asking for no further violent contact. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Also, in both instances, I asked for the no contact to be dropped, but I guess that wasn't approved.
You are absolutely right. But now we have sworn testimony from you that he's violated the bond order. So I'm not inclined to grant it anymore.
Okay.
Because apparently he can't seem to comply with the court order. So I'm very, very concerned whether he will comply with any future court orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big boo-boo. You can call that a big boo-boo.
I know, I understand, but me being his wife, we just wanted to check on each other. I did ask the VA and his attorney if I'm not afraid of him. I would like contact with him. I just asked that he gets help. He needs help. Anger management, community service, the things of that nature. Yeah, I'm not afraid of him at all.
Ms. Price, I would recommend right now. The request is denied. First one. Number two is you get in touch with the victim advocate's office and they can talk to the prosecutor as to whether the prosecutor is open to amending the no contact to no violent contact, or whether the prosecutor wants to revoke his bond and keep him in jail for violating the bond order. All right. So then the third thing that maybe y'all might want to address is the fact that Mr. Sabri has another open case with you as the alleged victim. So Mr. McLean, yes, I am not amending it, but what would you like to tell me?
I was going to ask if Mr. Walker and I could speak on the phone after work today. I'd appreciate it.
Definitely.
Walker, just give me a call. We'll talk about that.
We can talk, but the state's position is not changing. He was ordered to have no contact back in August. He had contact and caught an aggravated assault with the same victim in November. So,
yeah, Ms. Price, if you the only thing I can tell you is that yes, I understand you're married, but unfortunately, Mr. Sabri has some serious cases involving you as the victim. So if he attempts to communicate with you anymore in the future, and you accept those contacts, all you're doing is jeopardizing his freedom.
Understood.
He is under a court order to have no contact with Shelby Price, not communicate with her directly through a phone, through a computer, through a third party, even on social media. I cannot, that's the only language I can speak clearly. And if he doesn't understand that, he will need to speak with his attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Jail court, I'm concluded with Mr. Sabri. Thank you.
Can we go to position number 26 and 27? Mr. Ivan Morris.
Your Honor, this person is housed in Cobb County. We talked today, and he wishes to enter a negotiated plea.
All right. Mr. Ivan Morris, case number is 22 CR 98F, accused of simple battery family violence from September 21st, 2021. Mr. Morris, you did have a bench warrant matter, 24 FTA number 1, the first bench warrant case of the year. Okay. Well, there'll be null prost upon the entry of a negotiated plea. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. McLean. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the negotiated plea is, looks like I just had it. It's going to be 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 23 days, balance probated with the conditions of a no further contact with Miss Jasmine Jones, a stay away from Beacon Ridge Apartments located at 5401 Old National Highway. He will have to complete a family violence intervention program and 40 hours of community service.
Right. And Mr. McLean, does your client accept those terms?
He does.
And do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do, Your Honor.
And when would be the earliest time that he will be able to report to probation?
Well, he goes to a city hold. It's going to be a minor matter in Union City. And that will, he'll be transported to that 7 days from now.
All right. Is he returning back to Cobb County?
No, Your Honor, we just rent space there.
All right. Mr. Morris, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have a few more days to serve at the Fulton County Jail?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you also understand that once you resolve all your holds, you will need to report to the Fulton County Probation to begin your sentence in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney services?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to take this plea offer today?
No, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that if you enter guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial, to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence and the witnesses brought against you, present any defenses or mitigating factors if you choose to do so, and also have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of simple battery family violence from September 2021?
Guilty.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. Could you speak up?
Guilty.
I'll accept your guilty plea. Once you have resolved your holds, you'll need to report to probation at the first available business day, which is a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. The probation office is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will complete a domestic violence intervention program. That's a I'm literally blanking out. That's a 6-month program of weekly classes, and you must begin those classes within 60 days of reporting to probation. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Those classes must be paid out of your own pocket. And if you fail to complete those classes, or if you fail to start within 60 days of being released, probation has the right to issue a warrant against you. Is that acceptable?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to lower your mask and repeat your answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. In addition to the domestic violence classes, you must also complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency that is, oh, I'm so sorry. Mr. McLean, is he listening, or does he have a question to ask you?
No, he may have a question. If we can pause on hold for on mute for a moment.
You may. South Annex, who do we have? South Annex, who is the gentleman in the blue jacket? And medical, who do we have?
Probation, 11 and 12, West.
All right. And South Annex, I will hold on that matter. Mr. McLean, if you're going to take additional time, may I take my probation revocation case with Mr. Haddad while you confer with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I want to make sure he understands everything correctly, and I'll go back in the corner.
All right. Mr. Haddad, we can take the probation revocation matter while Mr. McLean confers.
Oh. And Your Honor, South Annex, that's position number 30, Mr. Ramirez.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Medical, if you could unmute, please. This is State versus Christine with a K, last name West. She has a probation revocation case 22 CR 4023J, in which she was convicted of interference with custody or custodial relations. And the probation violation case is listed as 24 PV number 1. Ms. West, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Juan Haddad, who is seated in courtroom 2. Do you see him in courtroom 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Officer Allison, you've been sworn. What is the reason for the revocation?
Ms. West owes court fines and surcharges in total of $324, probation supervision fees in a total of $340, victim crime funds in a total of $76, failed to report as directed on September 7th, 2023, September 14th, 2023, September 21st, 2023, and October 7th, 2023. She has 33 days remaining on this case. Probation is recommended for time served. Please close.
Mr. Haddad, are you open to that suggestion?
Yes, we are, Judge. We respectfully request the court to follow the probation's recommendation, Judge.
Position 11, it will be marked as a probation violation, and her sentence is commuted, the remaining time is commuted to time served, and that concludes Ms. West's obligations for this case. Ms. West, if you have no other holds, you should be released within 24 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Mr. Haddad, is Mr. McLean ready to address?
No, he's still conferring with his client.
All right, let's go to South Annex is also his case.
That's correct. So can we go to position number 23, Mr. Maurice King?
All right. Is that Miss Vigilante's case?
Ms. Abden.
Oh, Miss Abden, okay. 23.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Miss Abden. All right, and Miss Abden, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, and we have a start with Mr. Maurice George King, 23 CR 8024G, in which he was accused of battery, family violence, and simple battery, family violence from November 29th, 2023. Mr. King, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Rachel Abden. And I've got the word possible. So what's the decision, Ms. Abden?
He's gonna proceed with not guilty, Your Honor, and I've also submitted just now a waiver of arraignment to the court.
All right. Mr. King, your attorney has submitted a waiver of arraignment, in other words, entering a not guilty plea on your behalf. You are cited with 2 misdemeanor offenses, and these cases will be, this charge will be further noticed for trial. At the time of the trial, the prosecutor has the complete burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecution does prevail, you could be convicted and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Octavius McCownley available?
No, we're waiting for the officer to get to the 4th floor.
Okay. Mr. McLean, are we ready?
We are.
I lost my page. What position number were we on?
26 to 27.
26 and
Right.
7.
26 and 27.
All right. Okay, so I think there was a question about the time served, or was he,
It was just a matter of being sure that he understood what a long commitment and a financial commitment that FBIB can entail when one is working a full-time job.
so shall I proceed, or does he want to?
Yes, Your Honor, we should.
Okay. All right, just to reiterate, he has pled guilty to simple battery family violence after being so advised of his rights. He has waived those rights. And just also to reiterate, the sentence begins with a 12-month probation to serve 60 days, credit for time served 23 days. As indicated, Mr. McLean, you've advised him that he has a few more days to serve at the jail, correct?
Correct, seven, Your Honor, yes.
After serving that additional time, he will report to probation the first available business day. I think you said he has another hold to resolve. So as soon as he's available, he needs to report to probation the first available business day upon being released, which will be a Monday, a Tuesday, or a Thursday. And that is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, he will complete the 24-week domestic violence intervention program that must begin within 60 days of being released and placed on probation. He will also complete 40 hours of community service, and he has the remainder of the time that he has on probation to complete the community service at any nonprofit agency that is not a school and not a church. He is to have no contact with Jasmine Jones. He's to stay 200 yards away from Miss Jasmine Jones. He's not to call her, speak to her in person, not to communicate with her by phone, computer devices, third party, and even on social media. He's also to stay 200 yards away from the entire Beacon Ridge apartment complex at 5401 Old National Highway in South Fulton, Georgia. Mr. McLean, does your client share any children with Miss Jones?
I do not think so, no. No.
Okay, then that makes the matter a little simpler. That concludes the sentence. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, that would be the plea, and the bench warrant will be null crossed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
South Annex,
Thank you.
that is position, what was it, 20, was that Asa Moore?
No, that's South Annex is Ramirez, Your Honor.
This is Mr. Ramirez Sevenon, and I'm going to take a moment, Your Honor, if I might, and get a report from the social worker on whether this is ready.
Okay, in that case, I have got medical and jail court iPhone.
What do you think?
Jail court iPhone?
Yes, I have position number 24.
All right, that would be with Miss Abdon.
She needs to speak with him.
All right. Officer at jail court iPhone, is there a way that you're that you are able to speak, Miss Abdon? Did you
Can we do a
want?
breakout, Your Honor, with the jail court's iPhone and Miss Abden's laptop?
Good point. Thank you. I forgot about that. Okay. Miss Rachel Abdon, we're going to place you in a breakout on the where it says PD Rachel Abdon and jail court iPhone. You will both receive a message on your screen to join a breakout session. All right. Miss Kia Burgess, did you need to talk to Mr. McLean about position 30, Mr. Ramirez?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Your Honor.
Good morning and happy
Good
New Year.
morning.
Did you need to speak to Mr. Michael McLean, PD, about Mr. Ramirez?
I'm not sure. Does he need me to talk to him?
No, we've got it covered here. He's going to fill out a medical form for authorization, release of confidential information, and we're ready to go forward.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Burgess. I was just inquiring.
Okay, all right.
on that.
So, Mr. McLean, which case are you ready to move forward?
Mr. Ramirez Savignon.
All right.
Probably doesn't-
That would be South Annex. Mr. Wilmel Ramirez Savignon. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, Mr. Ramirez, my name is Judge Law. Your case number is 23 CR 8204G, in which you were accused of escape from custody or confinement on December 22nd, 2023. Mr. Ramirez, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about your case, your statements can and will be used against you. If you have any questions, you can ask your attorney, but please let me know if you need to ask any questions. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, Mr. Michael McLean will be representing you. So, and Mr. McLean, what are we doing with this case?
This is a negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Ramirez, if you please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yeah, password.
All right, thank you. Mr. Walker, what is the recommended sentence for Mr. Ramirez?
The recommendation, Your Honor, is 12 months to serve 32 days. Credit for time served 16 days. Balance probated. The defendant must attend and complete an Operation 21 course and 40 hours of community service.
And once he completes it, is the state willing to terminate or non-reporting?
There's no objections to non-reporting, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. McLean, does your client agree to the terms, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
He does, and we do so stipulate for the purpose of plea.
Mr. Ramirez, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No.
And have you understood what's been going on in your case so far?
Don't really understand because they didn't give me my medication. So that's why I went to a schizophrenia outbreak, and that's what happened to me. They didn't give me the medication, and that's why I did that.
Okay.
I'm not sure I heard his answer, Your Honor. Our understanding was that he is off his meds, and after the social worker interview, he is believed to be competent to go forward with the plea. He is anxious to get back on his meds, but he told me, and I believe he told our social worker today, that he understands the proceedings.
All right. That's what I concluded. And Mr. Ramirez, did you just hear your attorney?
Yeah.
Okay. So you understand that you were charged with escape, and today you are thinking about entering a guilty plea and going on probation to complete certain conditions. Is that your understanding?
No, I pleaded not guilty.
You
Okay,
plead not guilty?
that's fine. Let's do that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Ramirez, you've spoken to your attorney, Michael McLean?
Yeah, I spoke to it.
Okay, so you understand that on December 22nd, 2023, you were charged with one offense of escape from custody and confinement. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
You were given a $2,000 bond with respect to this case. Do you recall?
No, I don't have the money for the bond, but I don't have the money for the bond.
But you understand that's the bond you received?
Yeah.
Okay. And with regards to the charge, Mr. Ramirez, please listen very carefully, okay?
All right.
The prosecutor has charged you, Wilmel Ramirez Savignon, with a misdemeanor offense of escape for that you, Mr. Ramirez, on December 22nd, 2023 in Fulton County, Georgia, while in lawful custody and lawful confinement prior to conviction, intentionally escaped from such custody in violation of Georgia law OCGA 16-10-52B4. Do you understand, sir?
Yeah, but they didn't give me the right medication, and I got problems with mental illness like schizophrenia and bipolarism.
Your Honor, sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure if this information would change anything. He's also being held on a felony with a $5,000 surety bond. I would suggest that we maybe
Oh,
reset
Mr.
this.
Walker, I'm just arraigning the case.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. So, Mr. Ramirez, that is
I got
the
evidence.
charge.
I got
That is the,
I got evidence in Puerto Rico that I'm patient of mental illness. So I can
okay.
prove you.
And that's information that you're going to share with your attorney. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You don't share it while you're talking to me.
All right.
All right? You share that with your attorney. So right now, that is the criminal case brought against you for escape. Once you plead not guilty, as you've just indicated, did you want to plead not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay. Your case will be scheduled for trial, okay? You will have an attorney to help you at the trial. Do you understand?
All right.
And at the trial, you don't have any responsibility. The prosecutor has the responsibility to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Mhm.
And if the prosecutor succeeds and proves the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt and overcomes your presumption of innocence, you could be convicted. You are not convicted yet, but if you are convicted, you could be sentenced to up to a year in jail and or up to $1,000 fine. Do you understand?
I understand.
How do you plead to one charge of escape?
Not guilty.
Your case has been arraigned and it's going to be scheduled for trial. Do you understand?
All right.
All right, that concludes South Annex. Your attorney will be in touch with you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 4, Mr. Brown in medical.
I think that's a reset the competency calendar.
Yes.
All right.
So, Judge, if possible, if we can just address this one as well as Rico Brown's cases on the competency calendar today.
Is that your client, Miss Abdul?
Yes.
All right. Who is hosting? Is it Miss Grace, Miss Strong? Miss Strong, could
Yes,
you
ma'am.
put medical, myself, Mr. Walker, and Miss Abden's laptop in a breakout, please? As soon as Miss Abden gets on her, I think her laptop, is a laptop open? Okay. Mr. Walker, you will see a message on the screen to join a breakout, please. And medical, you will see a message on your screen to join a breakout. All right, we are back, resuming the SAP calendar. Officer Norris? And we,
I don't even know where to go, but I'm gonna go to.
no, Officer
position
Norris,
17.
if I can just give you a heads up. On position 3, Roy Brammer. That's reset to January 11th at 11 a.m.
Okay,
And then position 5 through 12, those cases are reset to January 11th at 11 a.m.
okay.
All right. And if you can get in touch with medical to let them know that we do not need Rico Brown and that his attorney will speak to him tomorrow.
Gotcha.
All right. So while you get ready for the next case, I'm going to go to jail court iPhone. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right. Jail court iPhone. Could you remind me again what position that was?
This is position 24.
No, it's
Okay. This is State versus Octarius Kimonta McCownley, case number 23 CR 8026F. Mr. McCownley, my name is Judge Law, and you have a one charge of simple battery, family violence against you from July 19th, 2023. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. If you need to say something, let me know and I'll let you speak with your attorney. Okay? Not yet,
Yeah.
not yet. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney's name is Miss Rachel Abden. If you need to speak with your attorney, I'm going to give you an opportunity, but right now I want to hear from your attorney. Do you understand?
Yeah, ma'am.
Good. Miss Abden?
Thank you, Judge. This is gonna be, we're gonna proceed with not guilty, and I'm gonna submit a waiver of arraignment, shortly.
Your attorney is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, and your case will be scheduled for trial. Do you still need to speak to your attorney right now?
Yes,
Okay. Miss Abden, would you be able to speak to him now, or would you like to speak to him after the court proceedings?
I would like to speak with him now, Judge, if possible. I just want to make sure that he still wants to go forward with the not guilty. I'm not really sure. We just spoke, so.
All right.
Just one moment. We'll be in a breakout room. You can talk to me.
All right. Jail court iPhone, do you have another case?
I do. I have positions. This is on the probation calendar. Positions 3 and 6. 3 through 6.
3 and 6. Okay, Miss Abden, we're going to place jail court iPhone after I've done the probation revocation matter.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Octarius will need to remain there, officer, so that he can be in a breakout with Miss Abden. All right, I have Jaquaris Dontavius Parks. And he has a position 3, 4, 5, and 6. Mr. Parks, my name is, I'm sorry, your first name is Dontavius, and your last name is Parks Jaquarius. Would that be correct?
No, ma'am, it's Jaquarius Dontavius Parks.
Is Jaquarius Dontavius Parks. Okay, I'll go with that. Mr. Parks, you have 2 probation revocation matters, and their case numbers are 24 PV number 5 and 24 PV number 6. And these are based on 2 underlying cases. On position 5, the case number is 20 CR 5742J, in which you were convicted of theft, simple battery, and theft by taking. The second case is position 6, 20 CR 5744J, in which you were convicted of theft by shoplifting, giving false information, or a second count of giving false information. With respect to the convictions in these 2 cases, there is a probation warrant seeking to revoke your sentences, your probation with regards to those 2 matters. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Mr. Haddad, who is in courtroom 2. Do you see him there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Officer Allison is the prosecution for this matter. Why are we seeking a revocation in this matter?
In case ending in 5742J, Mr. Park owes probation supervision fees in total $400, victim crime funds in total $90. Failed to report as directed on August 24th, 2023, August 28th, 2023, and September 12th, 2023. Failed to complete 8 weeks of anger management. He has 5 days left on that case. Probation is recommended for time served. Case closed. On case ending in 5744J, he failed to report as directed on the same days. Failed to complete the shoplifting course. He also has 5 days remaining in that case. Probation is recommending for time served. Case closed.
Mr. Haddad, those the recommendations that the defendant will accept?
Yes, Judge, and Mr. Parks, the probation is recommending time served, close out both cases.
The court will accept the recommendation for both matters. Both cases will be recorded as probation violations. The remainder of the 5 days will be commuted to time served. Mr. Parks, your obligations for both these cases are closed down. Thank you. All right, Ms. Strong or Ms. Grace, if you can put jail court iPhone and Rachel Abdon in a breakout, please.
Your Honor, may I address the last probation matter just so we can release probation officer?
Who is, I think that's at medical, yes?
Yes, position 28, he's not on the probation, he's the regular, calendar.
Okay, who is the, okay. And is your probation revocation client seated next to you, Mr. Haddad?
No, Judge, he was not brought over from Cobb County. That's position number 1 and 2, Rashad Hill. And I just want to let Officer Allison, because that's the only thing she's got left.
Oh, I see. Okay, and are we resetting those matters?
Yes, we're gonna have to, and I guess the earliest would be Tuesday of next week, if possible, Judge.
Okay, positions 1 and 2 are reset to January 9th at 9 a.m. Hopefully he'll be brought over by then. And Officer Allison, that is Mr. Haddad's New Year's gift to you, and you're free to go.
I appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you. Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah.
Medical, who do we have, please?
Number 28, Parhill.
All right.
I'm sorry, Parham.
Your Honor, Mr. Parham is gonna end up on the
11 a.m.
on the competency calendar, Judge. So we don't need Mr. Parham this morning, Judge. Our social worker went and interviewed him, and Ms. Abdon will submit the appropriate paperwork for the court to sign, Judge.
All right, the case will be reset to February 8th at 11 a.m.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, I guess we back in courtroom 2.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go to position 17 and 18, and this is Mr. Derek Coleman.
Position 17 and 18, we have a State versus Derek Coleman. Mr. Coleman, my name is Judge Law. You have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Vigiletti, who is seated to your right. On position 18, you have a case in which you're accused of simple battery family violence from May 27, 2023, in case number 23 CR 3367E. You've also got a bench warrant matter, which is 24 FTA number 3 for failure to appear on July 3rd, 2023. Mr. Coleman, excuse me, let's see. Ms. Vigiletti, how are we proceeding on position 17?
Mr. Coleman would like to plead not guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Do you waive a reading of the accusation?
Okay, yes, we'll wait, and I'll file a waiver.
All right. Ms. Vigiletti, you don't have to file a waiver of arraignment if I'm going to go ahead and arraign the case. I'm just asking whether you want me to read the actual accusation, but that's the only, but if you're filing a waiver of arraignment, then I'll dispense with the arraignment.
Okay.
So let's go with just waiving the reading of the accusation.
Okay.
And then just in the future, if you would just want to waive arraignment completely, you can just file a separate document.
Okay, I will.
Right. Thank you. All right. So for case 23 CR 3367E, State versus Derek Lemon Coleman is accused of a misdemeanor offense of simple battery, family violence. Mr. Coleman, you've been advised of your rights, and upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for trial. At the time of the trial, the prosecutor would have the complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt and overcome your legal presumption of innocence. If the state does prevail, you could be convicted of this offense and be sentenced to up to a year in prison and or up to a $1,000 fine. Given this information, how do you plead? All right, just lower your mask and speak clearly, please. How do you plead? All right. Your case has been arraigned and further notice for trial. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 25, Mr. Asa Moore.
State versus Asa Moore. Mr. Moore is accused of criminal trespass from December 18th, 2023 in case number 23 CR 8379Y. Mr. Moore, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Michael McLean. This case is, are we proceeding with a negotiated plea?
Yes, Your Honor, it's going to be time served, balance suspended, and he agrees with that.
Mr. Moore, please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Mr. Walker, in addition to what Mr. McLean has indicated, is there also a stay away from the Lexington 2 apartment homes at 3075 Washington Road?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. McLean, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do.
Mr. Moore, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And is anyone forcing you to enter this plea today?
No, ma'am.
Has it been explained to you that if you plead guilty to this charge, you would also have to give up your right to a trial, to face your accuser, to be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes,
Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 26 days, credit for time served 13 days. The balance is suspended. However, if you return to the entire apartment complex called the Lexington 2nd Apartment Homes at 3075 Washington Road in East Point, you will be arrested again.
Yes,
so you
ma'am.
cannot, you have to stay 200 yards away from the entire complex. Do you
Yes,
understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Next case, Officer Norris.
Next is going to be position number 33, Mr. Derek Tatum.
Would that be 20? Good. Did you say 33? Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
And does he have a bench warrant matter? Okay. State versus Derek Tatum. Mr. Tatum, in this case, you are accused of criminal trespass and possession and use of a drug-related object. This stems from a November 13, 2023 incident, and the accusation number is 23 CR 7076F. And with regards to this matter, Mr. Tatum, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. McLean. Mr. McLean, are we still going to arraign the case?
Your Honor, I believe that he would like to change that to a negotiated plea.
All right. In that case, Mr. Tatum, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, what is the recommendation for Mr. Tatum?
Yes, the recommendation is 12 months to serve 4 days, credit for time served of 2 days, balance probated with the conditions of an alcohol drug evaluation with any necessary treatment, 40 hours community service, and a stay away from all of MARTA. Count 2 would just be 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. McLean, does your client accept those terms, including a stay away from MARTA for 12 months?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do.
Mr. Tatum, have you consumed any medication or alcohol?
Not at all.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And are you being forced to enter a guilty plea today?
No, ma'am.
Has it been explained that if you enter a guilty plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury to be able to have your attorney assist you to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence and witnesses brought before you, add your own defenses or mitigating factors if you choose to do so, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you doing so freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of possession of a drug-related object?
Guilty, ma'am.
Did you say guilty
Yes, ma'am. Guilty.
to both charges? To count 1 on the trespass, your sentence is 12 months to serve 4 days, credit for time served 2 days. If you have no other holds at the jail, you'll be released within 24 hours, and then you must report to probation next Thursday before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street. While on probation, you will complete an alcohol and drug evaluation at your expense and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. The evaluation must take place within 60 days of being released. You may do so at any healthcare provider, including Grady Hospital. While on probation, you will also complete 40 hours of voluntary community service. Count 2 will be concurrent to count 1, same sentence. Mr. Tatum, when you do your community service, you must do that at any nonprofit agency that is not a church and not a school. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And with regards to MARTA, you cannot use any of the MARTA facilities, including their trains and buses, and you must stay away from all MARTA property, including their stations, their parking lots, and their sidewalks, as well as their amenities such as their bathrooms. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you return to any MARTA property, you could be arrested again and face new charges of trespass, as well as jeopardize your probation in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Abden, do we have any other matters to address with regards to Mr. Octarius?
No, Judge, it's my understanding that he would like to proceed with the not guilty, and I will submit a waiver of arraignment.
All right. Jail court iPhone, we concluded with this gentleman.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, can we go to position 29, Mr. Philpott?
All right.
Your Honor, I would like to refer this to another court within our system, and that would be all I would announce today, please.
Okay. Are you submitting a request for an evaluation today?
I will. I've got the form at the office, and we'll get to that and fill it out.
All right. Position 29 is reset to February 8th at 11 a.m.
February 8th. Thank you. Good to meet you. Thank you.
I have a position 34, Antonio Willis.
Your Honor, I had put down for Mr. Willis to reset that for either 1 or 2 weeks, somewhere in that range. We have to look some stuff up.
Okay, this case will be reset to January 18th at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Sorry, Judge, who was that for?
Antonio Willis, position 34.
And what was the date again?
January 18th, 9 a.m. All right, is Mr. Dennis Murphy present?
And that's gonna, I'm sorry, Judge, and that's gonna be on the SAP?
Yes, SAP calendar. All right. Position number 4, Darius Brown. That's going to be reset. Miss Abden,
Yes,
that's going to be reset to
the 25th.
the 25th at January 25th at 11 a.m.
Judge, I apologize. I have it here. It's reset to February 8th on the competency.
February 8th. Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
sorry.
you're correct. 11 a.m. Okay, I'll just go down the calendar with the attorneys and see what else we've got. I thought I had an add-on also.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a Mr. Sinclair on the add-on.
Jartavius Johnson and Bryson Sinclair.
Mr. Johnson's conflict with our office, so that might be Mr. Murphy's case. But I'm not sure.
All right, and what about Mr. Sinclair?
Well, that's a plea.
All right, is he in the courtroom with you?
No, the jail court's iPhone should be traveling up to.
Okay.
To retrieve them.
All right, let me just go down the calendar with the attorneys and then see where we are. Position 1 and 2, Clarence Armstrong, that's with Mr. Dennis Murphy. Did I reset those cases? I think there he is, Mr. Murphy.
Yes, Judge, I was not aware, I had not got any notice from Mr. Armstrong, so, but I'll note the reset date.
The reset date is going, this particular case, I'll go reset it to next Tuesday, January 9th at 9 a.m. on the SAP calendar.
Yeah.
Miss Grace, am I overloading the January 9th calendar? I don't know.
Let me check real quick, Judge. January 9th, you said next Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm still good. I'm still
Yeah, that's good. Yes, ma'am.
okay. So position, Mr. Murphy, this is Clarence Armstrong. He's got a battery, family violence, and a bench warrant matter.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
Position number 3, Roy Brammer, is reset to January 11th at 11 a.m. Same announcements for positions 4 through 12. They are reset to January 11th at 11 a.m.
Excuse me, Judge, position 4 is, you have 2/8.
Yeah, I misspoke. That's January 11th at 11 a.m.
For position 4?
4, yeah.
So you want 4 through?
Oh, wait, let me make sure.
Yeah.
Miss Abden, is Darius Brown different from Rico Brown?
Yes,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
positions 3, 5 through 12 is reset to January 11th. That's all Rico Brown. And then position 4 is going to be reset to February 8th, both on competency with my understanding.
Okay, all right. So that is Miss Grace, Miss Abden is correct.
Yes, that's what I have, Judge. Thanks.
Okay, so all these, so positions 5 through 12 is January 11th at 11 a.m. Okay, then that brings us to position 13, and that was a plea. Position 14 was a plea. Position 15 and 16 are null crossed as a result of the plea. Position 17, Derek Coleman in position 18, those are going to be those have been arraigned and further notice for trial. Position 19, John Harrison is a plea. Position 20 is null pros as a result of the plea. Position 21, Eric Jackson is, are you entering a waiver of arraignment, Ms. Abdon?
Yeah, I submitted a waiver of arraignment and presence. He's gonna enter not guilty.
All right. Position 21 and 22, we are going to take a waiver of arraignment, and those cases are both going to be further notice for trial. Position 23, Maurice King is a waiver of arraignment, further notice for trial. 24 is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 25, Asa Moore is a plea. 26, Ivan Morris is a plea. 27 is a null pros as a result of a plea. 28, position 28, Leroy Parham is reset February 8th at 11 a.m. 29, Philpott is reset February 8th at 11 a.m. 30 is arraigned and further notice for trial. 31 is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. 32, Brittany Shelton is a plea. 33, Derek Tatum is a plea. 34, Antonio Willis is reset to January 18th at 9 a.m. 35, Winters is a plea. And 36 is a null pros as a result of a plea. So we're still waiting on Jartavius Johnson and Bryson Sinclair, which are the add-ons on the SAP calendar. In the meantime, on the probation revocation calendar.
Your Honor, and I apologize for interrupting. The probation calendar, position number 1 and 2, Rashad Hill, was actually finally brought over. I've emailed Ms. Allison to see if she can hop back on Zoom, because the recommendation.
I'm here.
Oh, great, fantastic. So we're ready on that, Judge. Position number 1 and 2.
All right, and where is Mr. Hill?
Mr. Hill.
Find it out. Up here?
Okay.
Sorry.
So Ms. Grace will remove the reset on Rashad Hill. Rashad Armand Hill, Mr. Hill, my name is Judge Lal, and I'd like to remind you that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Jawan Haddad. You have a probation revocation matter to address under case 23 CR 004832A, in which you were convicted of simple assault, family violence, and or willful obstruction of an officer. The probation violation case is referred to as 24 PB number 2. Officer Allison, you're still deemed to be under oath for purposes of this calendar. What is the reason for the revocation?
Mr. Hill owes probation supervision fees in total of $80, victim crime funds in total of $18. Feds report as directed on September 11, 2023, September 25th, 2023, and October 10th, 2023. Failed to complete domestic violence intervention program and failed to complete drug and alcohol evaluation. He has 282 days remaining on this case. Probation is recommended to continue on probation, enroll in the domestic violence program within 30 days, complete the evaluation within 60 days.
Just 1 second. Mr. Haddad, my concern is that he's still got what appears to be an open felony case. Is he in jail for that, or can he, does he have any holes?
He does not have any holds, Judge. He's been in 18 days on the probation violation, but he does not have holds for the felony. I can look it up and I'm sure the court.
I've got a 23 FTA 116. He's got a bench warrant in case number 23 CP 21717. I can't make out the last case number.
And that I was not aware of, Judge, but if the court gives me 1 second, I can.
Judge Ingram has issued a bench warrant in case number 23 CP 217171. Bench warrant was issued for failure to appear.
Yeah, I see that, Judge. It looks like it was issued on the 19th of, on or about the 19th of December. The jail, when I checked a couple of days ago, Judge, on Mr. Hill, that did not populate, Judge.
Okay. 23 CP.
And now it does, Judge. It's on there.
And the charges stem from a aggravated assault, criminal trespass causing damage to property, simple assault, 2 counts of simple assault from March 22nd, 2023. He failed to appear in court on November 8th, 2023, and a bench warrant was issued on December 19th, 2023. I'm not going to accept the state's recommendation at the present time, given the fact that he's got another open violent case in which he's also got a bench warrant.
Your Honor, can I respectfully ask a reset on this case, Judge? Give me some time to speak to my client, find out about the failure to appear, whether there's a possibility he's going to be released or not. You know, something along those lines, Judge. I literally just met him a few minutes ago. I did not expect that little curveball.
Okay, I'm going to reset the case to January 18th, 2023. It's 2 weeks. And if you get a status of the matter.
I sure will do.
Actually, if you give me a moment, please. Yes, January 18th, perfect.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Now that concludes my matters. Can I be excused?
Yes, Officer Allison, sorry about that. Take care.
It's okay.
Your Honor, on jail court's iPhone, I have a client who has 1 count of criminal trespass, and we had audio problems in the middle of taking the plea last court session. He couldn't hear. So,
which case is this?
Sinclair add-on 2.
Oh, okay.
And so we could proceed on that when ready.
All right.
Go ahead. You said it.
Let's see now. We have Bryson Khalil Sinclair. He's at jail court iPhone. Mr. Sinclair, my name is Judge Long. I'd like to remind you that you have a open misdemeanor case for criminal trespass under 23 CR 6240C. With respect to this case, I'd like to remind you also that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Michael McLean. For purposes of your plea, may I place you under oath?
Yeah.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. Miss Strong, could you stop the video on the Zoom user? It's very distracting with the moving around. Thank you. All right, Mr. Walker, what is the plea recommendation?
It's just essentially time served, balance suspended, and to remain compliant with any MARTA suspensions.
All right. Mr. McLean, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do so stipulate for the purposes of the plea, Your Honor, and that is the recommendation we expected to hear.
Mr. Sinclair, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
What'd you say?
All right, step a little closer. Put
Yeah,
your
what'd you
arms
say?
down. Put your arms down and pay attention. Have you consumed and put your arms down?
Put your arms down.
Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
Oh, no.
And have you understood what's going on so far?
Yeah.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yeah.
Is anyone forcing you to plead guilty today?
Nah, the criminal trespass, right?
Correct. Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to plead guilty today?
No.
Well, you need to step a little closer so I can hear you. I don't know why you're stepping away so far. Okay. What was your last answer?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Sinclair, are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your constitutional right to have a trial in this case? You will not be able to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence and the witnesses brought before you, and have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Better give up your rights. Yeah. So, yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass and murder?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 4 days to serve 2 days, balance suspended. Basically, it's time served. You are free to go as long as you have no other cases holding you at the jail, but you cannot return to Mara unless all suspensions have been lifted. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, I would like to tell Officer Goldie.
Yes.
To 5 South 314 and retrieve Mr. Johnson, Jartavius Johnson. I see Mr. Dennis Murphy's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate
Yep.
All right, I think we have addressed all the SAP cases except Mr. Johnson, and that's Mr. Murphy. Officer Norris, how long would it be to retrieve Mr. Johnson? Like about 10 minutes?
About 10 minutes, that is correct. Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We will go into our breakout for the 11 a.m. calendar.
And Your Honor, Deputy Falk is handling that calendar. She is on the way and is logged on shortly.
Oh, okay. Is Miss McLeod?
She hasn't logged back on yet, Judge. Or you just want me to wait until everybody is on too?
Yeah, we'll just be in recess either until Mr. Johnson appears or Shelley Falk appears. Then
Thank you.
we'll see where we go.
Deputy Falk just logged on, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge,
Hi, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Murphy?
I can briefly address John Cavius Anderson.
Is that on the 11 a.m. calendar?
No, I guess he's on the 9 o'clock.
Anderson. You mean, I don't have an Anderson on the 9 o'clock calendar.
Maybe it's John Cavius Johnson.
Yeah, that's on the add-on calendar. You're correct.
Okay. Let's see here.
They're bringing him over. Did you want to reset? Then I'll cancel the bring over.
Yes. Yes. If we can reset it out 2 weeks, I have a trial next week. And I thought he was John Cavius Anderson.
This is Jartavius Johnson.
Okay. If you can give me that case number, Judge.
Yes, sir. Case number is 23 CR 7084F. Officer Norris, we can cancel the bring over for Jartavius Johnson, please.
All right, so we don't need him on 5 South?
No, sir, we don't.
Okay.
So that concludes those two cases. And thank you though, officer, I appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Murphy, your client is Jartavius Johnson, and the case is reset to January 18th at 9 a.m. And just for reference purposes, I have a date of birth of May 24th, 2005.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. And he's got a $6,000 signature bond through the jail. So with a Superior Court matter 23 CP 219920 and other cases as well.
Duly noted, Judge.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, let's all go to our breakout. Mr. Murphy, I think you may have a 11 o'clock calendar.
I do, Judge.
Okay.
Yeah, I put you in the breakout room.
And she still wouldn't want to
Ms.
demand.
McLeod, I'm about to put you in the breakout room.
All right, I think we've concluded with all our jail cases. We've gone over the calendars with everyone. So, courtroom 2, is there anything else for us to address? Mr. McLean or Ms. Vigiletti? Or
Judge, I
Mr.
think they
Haddad?
left.
They left?
Yeah, I think they left.
Yeah, Your Honor, they left today.
All right, courtroom 2, then thank you very much, Officer Norris. You did a bang-up job.
I tried my best.
Very proud of you.
I appreciate it, Judge.
Take care, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.